What's up, everybody? It is your boy who is not connected actually here. So hold on. Let's roll the intro. Works a lot better when you've got the microphone connected. You know, it always works much, much better when you've got the microphone connected. Okay, we've actually got our mic plugged in now. So what's up, everybody? Very professional streamer, very, very, very professional streamer who, you know, doesn't plug in the microphone. Oh, man. Started it right on New Year's Eve. This is how you start on New Year's Eve. I'm just telling you, it's exactly what happened. No, I was not connected the first time. I was not at all. I was using it was defaulting to the horrible microphone that is not my real good Shure microphone, which I'm gonna yank in front of myself right now. But good to see you guys. You know, it's always fun on Legal Minds. There's always something going down on Legal Mindset. And shout out over there on Rumble, Occupant 42. I see your Rumble rants. I will get to them in 1 second because you are starting strong. But appreciate all of you showing up today over here on the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I am so excited to have another stream with you guys today. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It is New Year's Eve over here in Asia. So we're ready to do it big today. It's very possible I may have a live stream on my locals. I may just do one walking around tonight. I've done one before with my locals people. You guys enjoyed that. I mean, kind of walking around the crazy streets. It is crazy here in Thailand for New Year's, for International New Year's. There's also Thai New Year's Songkran. That's, later on in the spring. But it's going to be crazy here. I think tonight. So I may do a little bit of stuff on locals. It's going to have to be locals because there's too much copyrighted music playing. There's too much things that might pop up and pop around that can't be shown on YouTube. But that being said, I am really, really happy to celebrate it with you guys. And I know that for us, our 2024 is going to be absolutely based. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So that said, shout out to all of you guys who are here in the chat today, all 317 of you. Smash that like button and do that wherever you are in the world. And also shout out to my locals. What's up, Ski and Patrick? Good to see you guys over there on locals as well. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it today. I see someone says, send me a Thai chick for New Year's. Come here, I'll deliver one to you. You know, it's local delivery only. We're gonna jump right into it today, but we've got some chats, so let's just get right into it. The people who drop them first get first. And by the way, I always say the first person today who joined on YouTube, and the first person on YouTube who made a comment today. Let me go to YouTube to actually get this one behind the scenes. I think the first person today was Keck 44. So shout out to Keck 44 for being the first person to comment. Heck, you know it was you. You know it was you. All right. So Scorpion Red Dragon says, idea in 2024, Steamboat Willie and his freed copyright characters in an insurrection to take Iger's shower stall with blazing pitchforks and blazing torches. Yeah, that would be absolutely hilarious. And who knows? Who knows? These things may end up in a panel, right? If you follow the Western Penman on X, that is, and let's go over here and into X, and I'll pull it up real quick. If you follow the Western Penman, you can see some progress shots, and we're going to have a lot of progress shots of my comic, which is going to come out working with the Western Penman, who is a fantastic artist. He's a cool guy, great concepts. You're going to see a lot of updates over here on his X profile. So I would follow the Western Penman as we work on CD Creek with Steamboat Willie. It is going to be a fantastic journey down good old CD Creek. Now, this is, of course, the draft cover. There may be some tweaks to it, maybe some improvements, minor changes, but this is going to be the journey and the explanation of Cedar Creek by Steamboat Willie and all of his other public domain friends that have escaped the shackles of the Disney oppression and have been freed to tour you down to Cedar Creek. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. I am absolutely looking forward to it. Chuck in Tennessee, member for 12 months, says, keep up the good work. Is this live for $2? Says, boom, and then drops 50 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Is this live? Absolutely coming through like a Chad today. And I still see people getting these memberships. So Haxor, HG Cupcakes, Super 2323, Sherry, BJ Jarbo, Omar Santiago, Julio, Jonathan, D Nice Gamer, Heard Not Seen, Asgardian Blade, Mary Ann, Alfarius, Brad, Brian, Kenji, Steph, what's got Steve C, Lawrence Hamilton, Helena J, Scott, Madman, Takasu, D.A. Bassett, Azurian, Mo, Maka, Garrett Pace, A Sunny Fox, Michael, David, Cat Press, Rachel Harris. There's probably one or two more because this thing was going so fast here. Oh, Sojong the Great. What's up, Sojong? My Kyopo brothers. Alyssa Ruiz, Sarah Johnson, Drew Dastardly, and Lover of the Law. All you guys were given gifts by Is This Live. So please say thank you to him. Say thank you to Is This Live, who confirmed their gender last time as a crusty old guy. So make sure you say what's up to Is This Live, because Is This Live is much appreciated on this channel for being such a giga chad with these memberships and helping you guys become part of the BLM, the base legal mindset. All right. So yes, thank you. Say thank you to Is This Live. All right, so next we got Adam Wolford says, is the disco ball for sale? Call Elon. It could be. I mean, theoretically, if Disney does not pay his taxes, the consequence is Disney's property is sold. I think I've told you guys this before, and it's something that goes understated. But if Disney ever doesn't pay their tax bill, they will have their property eventually foreclosed upon. In Florida, what happens is a tax deed, i.e. a deed for the unpaid taxes, it's issued on that property. And if the property owner never pays back that tax deed, which, by the way, accumulates interest, right? If they never pay that back, then their property is sold out from under them. So it is possible if they did not pay their taxes at some point in the future or any point, they could end up with Epcot for sale. Slap a big for sale sign on the golf ball. That is very possible, although it's not probable. They likely would pay before losing those assets. But that said, it could happen. It theoretically could happen. Now, of course, that can only happen after the conclusion of the court cases. And we're going to talk about the court cases today because there's actually a lot of them. And I actually want to pull up the clerk's site again because I can't understate how kind of crazy it is when you look at all of the lawsuits that are going on right now, particularly with Disney and the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District and Orange County. So, of course, this is not just, when we're talking about property valuations, these are property valuations that are generally levied by Orange County, but the entity that enacts these, the entity that places these on the actual tax bill is often RCID, Reedy Creek. So Reedy Creek is placing those county taxes on the tax bill and sending those out. So they're often the ones that are added as a defendant in this case. So that's what we've got going on there. Now let me hop over to Rumble, where we had some comments from Occupant 42. So Occupant 42 earlier said, Disney can crash and burn, be covered in the salt and fire beaten with shovels. But I have the slightest modicum of sympathy for them with that valuation. The cost to remove Disney branding makes it essentially impossible to sell it for that price. We're going to talk about property valuation today. What's a proper property valuation? This is some nerdy shit. This is some real nerdy, super legal stuff. in my world that I deal with quite often. And the thing is, for property valuation, I can kind of see where occupant is coming from here. And I can also even have sympathy for those that have their property overvalued, because it is very common that there can be property appraisers that they're just greedy for taxes and they want to overvalue your property. They want to charge you more on taxes than that property is really worth. And that is something I am sympathetic to. I am sympathetic to the government wanting more money, more tax money. I am very sympathetic to the plight of a business owner or an individual who's fighting that. However, this is not just any business owner or individual. This is indeed Disney. So let us not forget, this is not mom and pop. This is not Grandpa Joe's knick-knack store. This is Walt Disney World. This is the biggest standalone operation in all of this county. And we're going to look at that. We're going to look at that from Orange County's own numbers. It's absolutely huge. However, that doesn't mean that Disney gets to get a massive discount. Disney doesn't get to get a bulk discount because they're paying a lot. No, they need to pay their fair share. And we're going to go over the different approaches to property appraisal. But before we do that, I got some property, and that is Menmot dropping 50, and then another 50, 100 memberships. Guys, dropping MM in the chat for Medmut. Dropping 100 memberships, 50s on 50s on 50s. What a gangster. What a gangster. Can I even try to read all of these? I don't even know if it's possible. I'm going to try to read some of them here, at least, Medmut. I got to get some of these out of here. Bob's Burgers, Mike Likes Tacos, Jason J, Michael Stetson, John Rosengard, Tomorrow Lad, Jerry Jones, Dan Clifton, Mitch, Miguel, Ka, Mike, Seneca 57, Josen, Brian Sykes, Kimmy Joe, Jessica. What's up, Jessica? Good to see you. Darkside Digital, Jeremiah Hembry. Let's see what else we got in here. Dustin, Daniel, Ryu, Black Horse Cavalry, Ruan, Tyler Cook, Unit 731, Native Guy, Cisco Sisser, Drop Barracuda, Small Wildflowers, Wrestler Town, Shisahoro, Kiroyoku, J Blues, August Signorelli, Mosum, Bill Barker, WDW Pro. Wait a second, WDW Pro is in the chat. I have a famous individual in the chat here today. What? Oh, such a hero of the rebellion is in the chat today. In fact, you know what? I will send an invite to Pro, since he's just lurking out there, probably all ronery on Christmas Eve over there. I will send Pro an invite in case he wants to hop on here, because I'm willing to share the love with Pro, because he's been such a cool guy. All right, so I'll send Pro an invite here. Now that you have a membership, let's see what else. Well, here we got for Menmut. We also got Bill Barker, Danny B, Wild Witch, Final Fantasy 15, Milo Becker, Kirby Side, lots of Angry Rabbits, Tyler Jones, and Deli, in Naptown Nerd, Lily Sav, Zyber Ninja, Omega, High Tech Dragon, Joe Russell, Dusty Storm, Daniel Craig. Guys, so many with Medbud. Thank you so much. And then on top of that, we have Gangster Is This Live dropping another 50, so we can just have an all green New Year's Eve. This is so freaking awesome. Already 200 new members in this chat. Insane. This is crazy. Bill Bark, thank you so much. We're making it absolutely crazy. And Is This Live says, very unfair to double when I'm drinking Medmut. Very unfair. Very unfair. Is This Live throwing down? So each of them have done 100. Thank you so much, guys. Just drop some thank yous to Medmut and Is This Live, guys. These guys are coming here big for you in the New Year's. And these guys have also come in big for this channel over the last 2-3 months. So thank you guys for supporting my channel. You guys are amazing. And you help me do this day to day. You help me keep bringing you the best news day to day to day. Medmut says, oh, Andrew, this is a belated Xmas gift because I was unable to send due to folks at Purchase Friends. Yeah, sorry. I know PayPal's a little weird with their stuff. So yo comprendo. Je comprendo. Thank you so much, Medmut. Appreciate you. Cheers. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the other side of the world. So thank you so much, guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Also, I want to say a special shout out to a longtime viewer of my channel. I caught him earlier. Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson has been following my channel forever, and I just want to give a little special shout out. Bob was blessed with twin boys. So I just want to say, man, I am so proud for you. So proud for you, so happy for you, so happy for you sharing that with everybody, and to see people that are building like awesome families. That to me is inspiring, and it's inspiring to see people in the community like growing, developing, and what's happening for them. So I wish all the best for you and your family. I'll pray. I hope your wife is all right. She's doing great, recovering fast. Your boys look great. Glad they're healthy. So just want to give a quick shout out to an OG in this channel. And Marcus Squintus, 50 legal mindset memberships, bringing us up to 250 right now. What's going on? What's going on right now? What's going on? Oh, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Thank you so much, Marcus Squintus. I guess I got to read at least a couple of these from Marcus here, because Marcus I haven't given some love to. So Marcus just hooked up Beatrix, CRS Hey Jester, 8-bit Retro Bench, Just T, MLS, Making Law Simple. What's up, MLS? How you doing, brother? Mystery Sniper. I still laugh over MLS's cosplay of a certain rando on YouTube. John Cipolla, Octavia, Winter, Based Veteran. Shout out to my Based Veterans. Tara Dizzle, Jose Garcia, Jennifer Walter, Summer Soldier, Nukamal, Sparky Schultz, Anthony, Ryan McAmis, Carl Jennings, and who's got Yuki and Joseph Productions. Good to see all you guys there. Adam Wofford also gifted 1 Legal Mindset membership. Thank you so much, Adam Wofford. So Adam Wofford, Marcus Squintus, Is This Live, Menmut. Thank you guys. You guys are making me really glad to be going into the new year. We're almost setting a record. To be honest, this is not yet the record. The record for me is 324. So we are 74 memberships off of a record. Is This Live says, if you keep reading them, we will make you lose your voice. No, I do it. So, I mean, I know what I'm doing here. I know what I'm doing when I'm reading these. I know what I'm doing. And a couple more are coming through here because there's so many, it's actually lagging YouTube. Sean, M. Burnsy, Engel 626, El Diablo Blanco, all those were courtesy of Marcus Squintus. So thank you for that. Really, really awesome. Hillis Mallory says, this just in, Disney is fighting the latest legal battle against them. In other words, water is wet and ice is cold. Yeah, Disney is really putting themselves in a position where they're just self-owning. And the one thing we can talk about with these property lawsuits is, the one thing is, if they do win a property lawsuit, if they win, not settle, but win. If they win, they do get their legal fees. So they do get paid legal fees if they win. But they must win. A settlement typically will not include that. So especially when you settle with the government is usually not paying for your legal fees. They might, because they're usually the insurance coverage, and they might have some type of coverage that'll cover them for settlements for litigation. So they'll cover the expense of the litigation on their side, but not your side. So they're very reluctant to cover the other side's legal expenses. Panthera 111 says 1 month watching Disney legal woes. Just 1 month, but there. Well, welcome. Look, I don't mind if you guys are just tuning in today or just tuning in for the last year, but we are going to keep on Disney's legal woes. Whenever there is a Disney legal thing, I'm going to cover it. If you like that, if you enjoy that, drop a flaming castle emoji in the chat, because all of you new members have access to the emojis now. So drop those flaming castles if you like seeing every single twist and turn of Disney's legal woes covered here on the Legal Mindset, because that's what I'm going to continue doing. This will continue to be the Disney legal woe channel into infinity and beyond. You know, beyond the fact where Buzz Lightyear transitions into whatever the Lightyear movie was. That was a disaster. But that said, we're going to be covering it into the future as long as it goes. Until Disney turns itself around and gets itself out of the courts, I will be covering Marcus Quintus would have dropped another 50, but out of work due to an injury. Now playing the workman's comp game. Got to save some for VR tomorrow. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. No, man, Marcus, man, I appreciate you dropping by and we're in thanking the channel. I appreciate you supporting the channel. Dude, I don't care if you got 1 or if you got 50. I appreciate the 50. I do, but I appreciate you coming by and supporting and being a guy who's been here with my channel for a while, Marcus, because I know you've been with my channel, hanging out here, having a good time for at least, 8 months now? Minimum. So thank you so much for that. Castles just flying out here in the chat, the flaming castles. It's great. And this chat is absolutely fire. This is one of the best chats out there. And we're always having fun. I like to come on this high freaking energy. Is Disney getting a reappraisal from Ingeron? I actually don't get that Ingeron reference. What am I not? Actually, that's one I don't get. But they are going to try. They're going to have a reappraisal because they have to have an alternative, right? So they have to have a alternative proposition for the property. And I will say on my locals here, we got some degenerates on my locals. And on my locals, they like to fight over me getting dressed and undressed. So locals, Patrick gave a $2 tip, which says preemptive button up if the button war kicks off again. Well, I'm as buttoned up as it gets. I don't button the top button, Patrick, so we're as buttoned up as it gets. But just in case. C3 Metal for $1 says, have a drink with me before it's New Year's, my birthday. Cheers. And Patrick says for $2, drink and cheers, D-Gens. Cheers. Cheers to you guys. Look, in this room, I don't have any booze. I've only got water right now. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm at the beach studio, so we don't got any beer here unless I like summon Ben with a bell, and Ben will bring me a beer. Like, we'll hand it through the door. But this is it's a morning cheers to you guys. It is 10:57 here a.m. A little too early for shots. Of course, this is indeed live. Adam Wolford says, your live streams is better. Whatever Disney Plus has on there, I would like to see the rat's headstone instead. Here lays a reminder of poor choices. Yeah, I mean, dude, Disney Plus is not putting out anything. If you're watching my channel, you're watching Pro, you're watching VR, you're watching these guys, regularly. We've got better entertainment for you just covering the woes of Disney than Disney has itself, right? Okay, so let's get into what I'm talking about here today. So what I'm talking about here is the Disney property lawsuits. Now, a lot of us have been paying attention to the other Disney lawsuits. Now, if you go to you type in Central Florida Tourism District into the Clerk of Court's record search, you get a lot of results. So you get 15 cases here. And of these 15 cases, almost all of these cases, right? Almost all of these cases are property cases. So this one doesn't involve Disney. This one, American Multi-Cinema. So 14 of these are Disney cases. And of these, 12 of them are related to property cases. So there are a ton of property challenges here. A lot. And what are they doing in these property challenges? What they are doing is they are challenging the evaluation of the property. So let's go into one, for example. Let's go into the biggest one that you guys will be kind of impressed by because it's a single parcel and it's worth a lot. And you guys can see I'm not making anything up. This is indeed legit. But before I get into that, Hunch the Dirty Ripper dropped $100. What? Says it's never too early for shots. Might want to get that bell, brother. You're looking mighty parched. I know. I'll have to like something. Be like, Ben, give me a beer. Which actually, funny enough, when I woke up this morning and I walked in here to like set up the studio, Ben walks in, and this Ben is obviously my co-host from Bangkok Bros. Out here at the beach studio chilling. He walks in with a beer and he's like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm gonna stream, bro. He's like, got a beer at like 10 a.m. I'm like, all right, this is the beach life, it's just hanging out with a beer at 10 a.m. But it's a good life, man. It's a great life. But I tell you what, Hunch, I will make sure to post on, I will post on Twitter, on X, and on locals with a drink afterwards. So you guys see me drinking at 10 a.m. afterwards, because I can't go get it live. It's me running downstairs, running back up. That said, cheers to you guys. So thank you very much, Hunch. You absolutely based Chad. All right, let's get into these lawsuits and show you one of the largest lawsuits out there that exist, and that is the Epcot lawsuit. So now we're looking at the Epcot lawsuit. So this is for Epcot. And now this one was filed in the Ninth Circuit. This was filed, as you see, on the 11th. Walt Disney World Park. So Disney, this is their Florida company, or their Florida corporation, rather, against Amy Mercado, which is the property appraiser. It used to be Rick Singh, but Rick Singh is out. Amy Mercado is in. So now Rick Singh, will go into that. He had a history that was a little bit controversial, because there was a period where Rick Singh, the old property appraiser, did use a very, we'll call it whack, property evaluation method. And in fact, he was challenged when I was an attorney in Central Florida. He was actually challenged by pretty much everybody, because he used this weird method of evaluation. And I'll just tell you right now, the method of evaluation was one that I'd never seen anywhere else in the United States. And it involved the value of the property, right? So it involved a valuation of the property based on a traditional method. So for example, something like a market valuation. And we'll talk about the different traditional traditional valuation methods. But it also added in something else. It added in the value of the branding. And that is something that is not normal. So saying, okay, this branding that makes this thing a Hilton or a Hyatt instead of a Motel 6 or whatever else, simply that branding, or a Joe's Hotel, the power of the brand itself has a value which increases the value. That was something that every single large corporation took a little bit of an offense to and sued over. And I think that was kind of a whack method. And that eventually was something that was clawed back in Orange County. But that said, there were issues with the previous tax collector that everybody agreed on, that the universal agreed on. And we'll show you some of those historic lawsuits that everybody was behind, and I have a lot of sympathy for, mainly because many of my clients had property that was overvalued under that old weird method. But nowadays they have changed, and they have changed how they do things, and Rick is no longer in there. They've got a new person in there. So they're challenging the appraiser, that's the person that determines the price, and then the tax collector, the person who is the county taker of monies, as well as the CFTOD, which is the political subdivision of the state, as we know, the successor to Reedy Creek, and the ones who are issuing the actual tax bill. So the appraiser is sued for their official capacity. The collector is sued in their official capacity. The CFTOD is sued as a collector and recipient of taxes. The CFTOD has opted to collect its share of taxes resulting from the assessments of the subject property rather than using the tax collector. So meaning the CFTOD collects their taxes, their share of taxes, directly. So they go directly to the CFTOD. They do not use a tax collector. That is smart, because if as a subdivision, as a political entity, you use another entity to collect your taxes, you have to pay them a bill for using their tax collector. So it's better to do it yourself and just use your own staff for that. So in this suit, they're saying that Epcot, certain land within Orange County known as Epcot, is overvalued. Specifically, they are saying here that Epcot, which they valued, and you can look the parcel up. If you go to the Orange County property appraiser, put in this parcel number 30-24-28 0000 4 zeros 0000 4 zeros again 1. That is Epcot. That is the Epcot property. Is a single parcel. Now, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are different. They are not single parcels. They're actually kind of a web of parcels. The value that the property appraiser says is the just value is $721,890,314. The assessed value is $646 million. Sorry, 178,878. So yeah, 721 is what they could have justly levied, but they actually assessed $646,000 on the property. So this is the amount that they actually assessed on the property. So understand they could have justly, properly put $721 million on Epcot in taxes. Sorry, this is the value of the property, right? But instead they assessed it at $646 million. Now they're not paying that in taxes. So $5 billion, and I'll confess, guys, I'm confessing to my sins here. I'm confessing to my clickbait. Here's my clickbait. $5 billion is the value of Disney property under the just valuation. The just valuation of Disney's property is $5 billion. So they are paying taxes on $5 billion. So it's some percentage of $5 billion. But $5 billion is the total evaluation of the property under the just method. Blind Lawyer explains this. He said Mar-a-Lago was 18 million in NYC. Yeah, the Mar-a-Lago evaluation was ridiculous. That property is worth far more where it is in Florida. It is in a prime location. It is a giant plot of land. Yeah, it's worth more than 18 million. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's houses that are quarter lots in South Florida that are worth more than 18 million. Let's see here. Yeah. And I said valuation. This valuation. Don't take this. It wasn't clickbait. It wasn't really clickbait. I actually changed the title so it was less clickbaity. I'm like, all right, this is actually accurate. I still feel, a lot of YouTubers, I feel like their souls are drained out, but I do try to make it accurate. So what is in the title is delivered, right? We're delivering it here. So what Disney is saying in this lawsuit, looking at this lawsuit, what Disney is saying is they're saying the property which has been assessed at $646 is not actually worth $646,000. They're saying that the court needs to go in and take jurisdiction, and the court needs to determine the appropriate appraisal method, establish a proper, just and assessed value for the property in accordance with the Constitution of the State of Florida, cancel the original bills by the tax collector and TOD, and issue new tax bills. So they are asking the court, they're asking a judge to come in and to determine the value of the property. They're asking a judge to come in and do that. And there is a little bit of me that's like, okay, this gets like, how does a judge know the value of the law? The value of the property, not the value of the law. Like the judge knows the law, right? A judge knows the law. But how is a judge to determine who's right? Like your expert or their expert? And to be honest, if you look at the people involved in this, for example, one of the judges involved in this is Jeffrey Ashton. If you guys remember the Casey Anthony trial, guys remember Casey Anthony? Jeff Ashton was on the murder case of Casey Anthony. And I've met Jeff Ashton. When I worked in Central Florida, I met him. My ex-girlfriend worked with Jeff Ashton. She was crazy. Any female lawyer prosecutor, sorry, not sorry. Female lawyer prosecutors, red flag like Tiananmen Square. That said, really hot though. But that said, Jeff Ashton does not know anything. He doesn't know diddly pixie dust about property valuations. I know that because I have had to have a bond valuation. So whenever you issue municipal bonds, which I had to issue, right? Those bonds that Disney used to the same type of bond that Disney used to build those parking garages that are totally public, except for they're not. No, but in my case, for places like Celebration, for places like Reunion, for places like Bonnet Creek, that they use to build roads, to build stormwater infrastructure, water infrastructure, conservation stuff, those bonds had to go before the court, and actually had to bring them before Jeff Ashen. And Jeff Ashen would email me and be like, look, we have no clue how much these bonds should be worth. We have no clue. We are relying on your valuation of these, because they don't know. These people don't know anything about property. So it is tough for me to say like a judge is the right person to be determining this property valuation. It's one of those situations where like a tribunal or maybe like even a form of arbitration might be better, where you get a arbiter who's an expert in property. And you're not dealing with somebody who doesn't know shit about property valuations. They know nothing about that. So it is a little bit of an awkward scenario. And oftentimes the judge just splits the baby. They're like, all right, well, you say it's this much. He says it's that much. Let's just meet in the middle. It's like, okay, well, all right. It's the side that will donate the most for their re-election campaign. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Speaking of re-election, Francis Montgomery said, do you know where I could find the plea agreements from Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell for the Trump election interference case in Fulton, Georgia? Couldn't find it on the Fulton, Georgia website. I do not. Honestly, the best place, the best guy to ask for that would be Robert Gouveia. And Robert, I'm sure Robert's got it. Robert Gouveia, formerly Robert Gruller, Robert Gouveia now. He's been on top of that stuff, like white on rice, or yellow on Spanish rice, whatever. But go over and hit him up. Maybe Joe, but Joe's a little less organized. I love Joe. Joe's a little less organized though, but I know Robert would definitely know. All right. So I think we got all of those. Want to check up on Rumble. Shout out to the Rumble Ghetto. 150 people watching on Rumble. Smash that like button. Also over on Locals, over on YouTube, we've got right now almost 800 people watching and almost 400 likes, guys. 50 more likes and we're at 400. So let's get to 400 here. So let's get back into the different properties. I want to bring you over all of the properties that were valued here. So we have Epcot. Right, we have Epcot here. And then beyond Epcot, we've also got, let me show you here. We got Epcot. So here's Epcot. And then beyond Epcot, we've got, these are some random parcels. And I believe these are the parcels that comprise Magic Kingdom. So these are the Magic Kingdom parcels. So you've got a bunch of different broken up parcels, which together make up the Magic Kingdom. You've got Port Orleans. This is Port Orleans, Coronado Springs, Caribbean Beach. So Port Orleans, they value at $533 million. Guys, Port Orleans Resort is worth almost as much as Epcot. Isn't that kind of nuts? Port Orleans is worth almost as much as Epcot. Pretty crazy, actually, if you think about it. Coronado Springs, very nice resort. I've actually stayed at Coronado. I actually like Coronado. Is $376 million, and then Caribbean Beach is $260. Yeah, I'm not as much of a fan of Caribbean Beach. You've got the random parcels, which I believe comprise Hollywood Studios. And these come out together. It's 99 million, 76, and 12 million. You've got some more random parcels here. I believe these might also be Hollywood Studios. They're kind of broken up. Some other random parcels here that I think belong to either Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios as well. You've got Pop Century and Art of Animation. Pop Century is $344 million, and Art of Animation is $377 million. Grand Floridian Resort, the GF, and the Polynesian, the contemporary, the crown jewels of the Walt Disney World resorts, are valued at respectively 333 million, 205 million, and 252 million. So the highest valuation is on the Grand Floridian. Second is the Contemporary, and last place is the Polynesian. So the Grand Floridian comes in number 1. Number 2 is the Contemporary, and number 3 is the Polynesian. Let me do a little poll in the chat for all for the people that have stayed on Disney property. So, which is better? I want to know. I want to know what you guys like: the Contemporary, Polynesian, or the Grand Floridian. And if it's only aesthetics, I don't care if you haven't stayed there. If it's just the one that you like, you think is cooler looking, I want to know which one you guys think is worth more. Because to me, I'll tell you right now, I always really liked the Contemporary because I thought it was really cool to have like a metro station going through it. It also, the Contemporary is the one that was like in Walt's future plan. Like the future city was going to have the metro rail running through. So it always kind of looked like that. So that was one of the pieces and the elements that I'm like, oh, this was like a cool concept, which just I thought was really neat to have like the station inside of it. It reminds me of those like places in China that they went and copied the metro through the building. They copied that from Disney. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Also, Panthera 111 gave 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much, Panthera. We are up to 256 memberships. We're like 60 members. What are we right now? Like maybe 65 short of a record here. Something like that. 65 memberships short of a record. So we're pretty close. Thank you, Panthera. Appreciate that. A lot. Right now, in the chat, the Grand Floridian is winning at 41%, followed by the Contemporary. No love for the Polynesian, which comes in third, or only 26% love, which comes in third here. Grand Floridian coming up big. Now, I will say with the Grand Floridian, I went to what's the restaurant in that? Victoria and Albert's. I went to Victoria and Albert's for my birthday. This was like 8 years ago or something. I will say at the time, 8 years ago, Victoria and Albert's was worth it. I don't know. I wouldn't go today. Obviously, I don't support, spending my money there. But that being said, 8 years ago, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good, like, million course meal. I don't even remember how many courses it was. It felt like it lasted forever. I think it was like a 3-hour meal. I mean, look, I've had omakases in Japan and I've had long course meals, but like that was one of the longest. They really, really, really stretched that one out. It was fun though. It was definitely a fun one. All right. So I think, is that everybody? Okay, let me see. Let me see if I got all of the valuations here. No, we have not. So we got Fort Wilderness. So Fort Wilderness over here coming in at 150 million. Also got a couple more here. We got Yacht Club. So this is Disney's Yacht Club, Yacht and Beach Club. 417 million. Guys, Yacht and Beach Club at 417 million is worth more than the Contemporary, the Polynesian, or the Grand Floridian individually. Yacht and Beach Club. I think it's the amount of real estate plus maybe the water. I don't know why the valuation on the Yacht and Beach Club. I have to look at the parcel itself, but that's a pretty now I'm not saying that's wrong, by the way. Right? I'm not saying that's wrong. And actually, let's pull up the Orange County Property Appraiser site. You know what? Let's do a live search here on the Property Appraiser site. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. This is Legal Mindset's educational class. So let's go over here and let's get this number here. Okay. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy this number. Okay. So you see me copying this number, right? So I'm going to close that for a second. Then we're going to pull up over here the property search. This is the Orange County Property Appraiser. This is Amy Mercado. God, those glasses. Amy, Amy. Very, very interesting look there, Amy. All right. That said, go over here, do a little control V, parcel ID number. So I just pasted it in there. All right, let's see what we got here, baby. See what we got. See how we're doing here. All right, Epcot Resort Boulevard. Look at this. Here is the property picture, right? Here's the evaluation. You can see there's the assessed value. There's the increase, right? Which is a pretty significant increase. Here's where the money is going to. It's going to the public schools. It's going to the library. It's going to the water management district, to Bay Lake, which is the Disney-controlled one. It's going to the CFTOD. It's going to South Florida Water Management District. So there's a lot of places it's going there. Typically, you can see a map. Let's see if we can get a little map here for this. Usually you can get an overhead. Let's see. Bird's eye. Let's get a bird's eye maybe. Let's get a bird's eye view here. See if we can get that of this, because I want to take a look at this parcel and how big it is, because I think it's a fairly sizable parcel here. I mean, we're talking about, let's see, property features, 65 acres. 65 acres. If you guys ever want to get really bored, these property descriptions, reading a property description is very, very boring. It's usually something like this, like the Northeast 1/4 of the Southeast 1/4 of section blah, blah, blah. And it goes on for pages and pages and pages and pages. All right. Oh, this is my jam. Okay, we got the overhead. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is my jam. So guys, if you want to know what my job was back in the day and what I spent kind of hours doing, it was looking at this website, and it gives me a flashback to look at this here website. So, and I'm zooming out as it's kind of loading here because there's a lot of kind of detail to load. I'll close this. Let me open this back up. This is it's absolutely fascinating to me. And I love property stuff. Okay, so here we go. You've got the property appraiser's website. Welcome to what I did for years. This was my life. And Jonas J. Campbell, what's up, Jonas? Says, thank you for doing my homework for me, Andrew. Happy New Year, you filthy animal. Jonas, if you want to pop on for a second, I'm happy to have you, brother. I'll send you a little invitey, here if you just want to drop by and say hi for a second. You're more than welcome as a friend of this channel and as a good positive influence, right? Positive people are always allowed on my channel. So thank you for that. Is this live? Says, I wonder if DVC units affect the valuation. It might. If there are DVC units on the property, it might. Okay. So this is the property appraiser's website. Now, what you can do is on this website, which is really cool, is you can click around and you can grab different parcels. So you can go and look at different parcels. You can investigate different parcels on the map and look at their valuation. So right here is the allegedly, I believe this is supposed to be the boardwalk, but this looks like it grabbed a different parcel here. I think this is the parcel here, I think. But that said, and it's always loading because it's got different satellite imagery at different levels. So when you zoom in and zoom out, it's always loading different satellite imagery. And sometimes the satellite imagery is kind of like garbage, or sometimes it's kind of good. It's kind of a crapshoot about the satellite imagery based on what level you're trying to articulate at. But you can see some pretty good details, especially when you start zooming in here on the property, right? You could also see a little bit north of this, there was the oh so magical Mickey solar panels. So you can see that here, but you can see, okay, this does appear to be, now that we're in enough, we can kind of see this does appear to be the boardwalk. And if you look at it from a parcel standpoint, and I'm hoping this loads properly here and it does not stay too stubborn, but it looks like this is actually a pretty big chunk of property. So the reason why this is valuable is because it's on water, I guess, technically, and it's also a pretty big parcel of property. So the property appraiser's website, sometimes a little bit funky, not loading, not always loading properly, but yeah, it's a pretty big parcel of property, which is probably why it's got that valuation. Me positive, heard I'm just a black pill trolling the rat for clicks. Yes, I'm sure that's what the Disney fans said. The same Disney fans that didn't get Walt Shatner's joke when Shatner said, "I don't like you either," right? And the quote unquote Star Wars fan, I'm not even going to say his handle. The Star Wars fan didn't get that because Disney Star Wars doesn't know actual Star Wars. They just stand for Rey and, Reylos every single day. That's all they do. Right. So yeah. Thank you for being a real one, Jonas, a real fan and a real person who would love to see Disney returning to the good old days, because you have a great family, and it would be great for everybody to be able to bring their families back to Disney and to show their kids Disney cartoons, Disney animation, without having to sit there and watch to make sure there's not some sort of propaganda in the actual cartoons. Also shout out to Culture Casino. I see you in the chat. You guys, you're amazing as well. Good friend of the channel. How does Culture Casino not have a membership? How is it not like that? All right. So let me get back into this. So what I want to get into here is the evaluation. So when we're looking at these evaluations, there are different ways to look at the evaluation. And now, who better to teach you about property evaluations in Orange County than Orange County themselves? In fact, if you see here, I actually found a presentation that the Orange County property appraiser gave in Indianapolis in 2015. So it's a bit old, but this was given by the old property appraiser in Orange County, Florida, explaining property evaluation. So who better to explain it to you than the folks in Orlando, right? Like, they're going to explain to you what property evaluation is. So by the way, they lay out here that Orange County, Florida is the only county in the United States where a property appraiser must assess 7 theme parks, 80,000 hotel rooms, and 14,000 timeshare units. Actually, this is wrong. It has gone radically up since that in 2015. We now have over 100,000. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's over 100,000 hotel rooms. And I know that timeshare units have probably doubled. I'm going to shout out to my girl. I got some of my folks who used to work at timeshare in-house counsel with me back in the day. I know they're watching right now. I know they're fans of the channel. They could probably tell me how many timeshare units are in Orange County, but I don't know off the top of my head. But what I do know is that Tank Rat is a based Chad in the Emirates, dropping 50 legal mindset memberships. Dropping 50 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much, Tank Rat. You are an absolute Chad. And you are absolutely coming through there with the 50 memberships. Let me read some of these that were blessed by Tank Rat. And guys, we are 20 memberships away from setting a record here on Legal Mindset on New Year's Eve. Thank you so much. It'll be the 2023 record-blowing New Year's Eve bash. Garrett D was gifted a membership by Tank Rat. Jam Smith, Harlan Remy, Beaker Garage, James Blanchol, The Gun Club. Well, what's up, The Gun Club? Good to see you. Shout out to The Gun Club, also on Rumble. Over-opinionated Asshat, The Angry Bear, Gay, was gifted a membership. Tamara Samuels, Jesus Banda, Carol Bello, John Stalecott, Tillman Atkins, Roscoe Remington, Dusk Blight, Acolyte Gnob, Short Bus Terror Squad. Okay. Adam the Bulldog, Buddy the Wonder Dog, Guy Vermectin, Yorick, Brian Smith, Banjax the Junkion, Jay Jeezian, Cass Kester, Jan J, Moby Boy, Moo, Nope, Don't Care, Fa Q, The Elusive Fan, Hairway to Steven, that almost got me. Jefferson Roswell, Jason Altator, and Cryan Glee, Kimberly K, Not Traneth, and Watchdog. You guys all say thank you to Tank Rat. Tank Rat gave all those people memberships, and I read all of them. So there you go. Also, shout out to Culture Casino, who's now a member of the BLM, my highest level of membership. Thank you so much for doing that. And then we've got Tank Rat coming in again, gifting 50 Legal Mindset memberships, bringing us way over because we've also got Is This Live with 20 and Culture Casino with 20. We have now set. And then Ted coming in here, Steph Stavornik with 1. We've now, between Ted, Tank Rat, Is This Live, Culture Casino, we have now blown past and set the record today. We are at officially 364 new memberships. This is a record for the Legal Mindset. Shout out to all of you guys. You guys make this channel great. You guys keep me doing this week after week, day after day. Thank you so much for that. Cheers to you guys. You're going to see me on X chugging a beer at 11 in the morning after the stream when I go get one, because this is a cheersable moment. A cheersable moment indeed. Indeed. Boom! Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Bella says, Happy New Year, Andrew, and everyone. Happy New Year to you, Bella. Shout out to my based people out there in the UAE. You guys are absolutely crushing it like Tank Rat. Thank you so much. It is amazing to have seen you guys around for long and amazing to get the support. Floral from Under the Rock for $2 says, what? No puppet love shout outs? You've got to pay me for the shout out. No, I'm joking, Floral. You are absolutely amazing. Good friend of the channel. Appreciate you, Floral, and all of your puppet shenanigans. Tank Rat says, Happy New Year, Andrew. Keep bringing the castle. Will never stop burning down the house of mouse. Kremlin says, Happy New Year. Thank you, Kremlin. Is This Live? Yeah, I got that $2 Canadian. Boom! And then Kremlin gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Guys, we are at 408 new members. 408. Guys, we're also at, for likes, we are at 490, almost 500. 10 people smash the like, we'll get to 500. It will be great. And you'll be helping out Marcus Squintus, who says, if you're watching, smash the like button out there, wherever you are on mobile, TV, whatever you're doing, smash it. All right, let's learn about property evaluation from Orange County, Florida. Did you guys ever think you'd be watching YouTube and learning about property evaluation methods? Did you guys ever think you'd be doing that? I didn't think I'd be teaching people this, but you know, the world works in a weird way, and Disney has screwed up so much that we're actually in a scenario where I'm calling out Disney's property evaluations. What a crazy world we live in. Okay, so this is Orange County, Florida. Orange County, Florida includes a large incorporated and unincorporated area. So all the way north to Apopka, which used to be a rural area, but it's now being built out. It also goes all the way down here, including the airport and Disney World. In between, you've got Windermere, you've got Winter Garden, you've got Oki right there. Can't ever say that. Can't ever say that. Ocoee. Maitland, Winter Park. So you've got a lot of incorporated areas. You also got some unincorporated areas. You've also got some small areas around here, and you've got the convention center, which is Universal Studios type areas in the middle here. So you've got a ton of stuff in Orange County, Florida, much cooler than Orange County, California. Just saying. The top taxpayers in 2015, remember, this is 2015. This is before Universal Studios has built Epic Universe. So I assume after Epic Universe, this is going to be number 2. So number 2 will be Universal. Number 1 will remain Walt Disney. Number 3 will be Duke, 4 AT&T, and 5 Lockheed. But Universal with Epic Universe definitely will jump over. But this is 2015 numbers. But in 2015, Disney paid $1.4 billion. Their value of property was $1.4 billion. I'm sorry. So since 2015, it's gone up to about $5 billion from 1.4. So we're at 5 now. Now, remember, property prices have skyrocketed in Central Florida. Any Central Floridian will tell you that. Okay, what is an appraiser? One who performs valuation services competently and in an independent, impartial, and objective manner. What is an appraisal? An appraisal is an unbiased opinion of value of an identified property based upon investigation and analysis of pertinent data and application of appropriate analytical techniques. I would generally agree with these definitions. But one thing I'm going to say here is, guys, pay attention. This does not tell you what a fair appraisal is specifically. It doesn't tell you the method. It doesn't tell you how the sausage is made. It just says you give an opinion that is objective and it's based on analysis using analytical techniques. So all it's saying is an unbiased opinion based on analytical techniques. What that implies is there are several valid techniques, very valid techniques, for determining what the value of any given property is. So, in any particular case, you might have different valuation methods which come up with different numbers. So, they bring up here in their presentation 3 different approaches to value. So these are different approaches to value. There actually are more approaches than this, but they're just bringing these up for a series of presentations. So cost, which is based on mass appraisal, which is explicit. Market, which is actual sales, implicit. Income, which is revenue, which is implicit. So they talk about the method. And with the cost approach, the explicit approach here, they talk about stuff like replacement cost, reproduction cost, minus depreciation, obsolescence. That comes up with their just value / market value, which are the same thing. Market value and just value are the same thing. Now, the property appraiser doesn't have to assess, i.e., levy taxes equal to the market value. In fact, there are several things in Florida that prevent increases. There's a maximum increase. So you can't have your property taxes double. There are caps in Florida on the amount of the increase, even if the property is shooting up in price. This protects you from booms, because a property boom can take a lot of owners by surprise. So a market approach, here we go. The market approach looks at a comp of recent sales. So you're looking at comps. Many of you would know this from real estate. But it would also take into account forms of depreciation, because comps, obviously, if it's an older building, it's a depreciated building. So you're looking at something that's comparable, something that was built around the same time and has depreciated about as much. The income approach looks at the present worth of future benefits. So what is coming in, the internal operations, that looks at the annual report, the revenue. And all of these methods, people, are valid methods of evaluation. None of those is improper. So if somebody uses one of those methods, it's actually completely legitimate. Now, you can say that those different methods would come up with wildly different numbers. For example, imagine if you own a hotel, but it's under renovation. Well, let's think about that. Let's think about that real quick under those 3 methods of evaluation. So if you're using a cost approach, so the cost to build it versus replace it minus depreciation, well, you're going to have kind of a mixed bag, because with the cost approach, if you're renovating a building, well, it's not fully renovated yet. So you're going to have some depreciation, some obsolescence. It's going to kind of cancel each other out. So the cost approach is probably going to be a middle ground for your hotel that's under renovation. The market approach might actually be kind of high. because maybe the market is really hot right now. So a lot of other buildings are selling for a lot of money. And maybe once they're renovated, they're actually worth a lot of money. So the market might be really in high demand for your property. So maybe this is the high number. So maybe let's pretend you're under the cost approach, it would sell for 500,000. Just making up a number. Actually, that's low. Let's say 1 million under the cost approach, 2 million under the market approach. But what about the income approach? Well, they're not making any money right now. It's under renovation. So maybe the income approach is the low number. So the income approach, your property might be only worth $500,000. Maybe it's worth less under an income approach, $250,000. Because they've got to look at all the expenses before you start making money again. Maybe that property isn't worth that much under the income approach. So maybe this is the low number. So it all depends on what is going on in that property. But none of those is an invalid way. Courts have said that all three of those methods are 100% legit for looking at property. So all three of those are the same. Okay. And let's talk about real quick here, give you guys a little lesson. I feel like I'm teaching my property law class here. It's great. It's great. I love this. This is my jam, guys. Property is my jam. So talking to you guys about property, I'm like so happy about this right now. Depreciation. Okay. Depreciation is the loss in value. So there's physical depreciation being used up. This is like the 80-year-old washed out rock star who's taken too much drugs and lived a hard life, let's say, right? He's had some physical depreciation. Like Mick Jagger had some physical depreciation. That said, look at like functional obsolescence. Inefficiencies or inadequacies of the property itself. So the property itself is obsolete. So maybe they've got old windows. They don't have hurricane-proof windows. They've got bad insulation. That's functional obsolescence. Economic obsolescence is loss of value caused by factors external to the property. So maybe, for example, this is a drive-in movie theater. This is a drive-in movie theater. A drive-in movie theater might have the latest technology for drive-in movie theaters, might have the latest projectors, the best stuff for drive-ins, but drive-ins are not in high demand. Now, actually, I think drive-in, the concept is really cool. I think it's a cool concept. It's kind of vintage, novel, unique. But that said, it would be considered by a property appraiser to be economically obsolete because it's not considered a good use of that property. It's considered something that is not an efficient use of that property. So that's depreciation. But before we get any further in property and property valuations, shout out to Mario Trujillo says, Happy New Year, Andrew, in the chat. I know I've said this before, but the Disney business is straight up cartoonish. Anime is more grounded than this. And look, you know we're going to continue weaving out here on the legal mindset. You know, I know that, look, my Disney streams will get almost 1,000 people. We'll be having fun. We'll be doing great here. But that said, I'm going to continue to do my anime streams because, listen, the 300 or 400 of you that make it to the anime streams love it. It's great. And you love me talking about good stuff that's coming out, not just bad stuff, and bringing some white pill positivity to your world in the form of anime, manga, manhwa. You know, I also want to do a manhwa. I want to do a manhwa day where I go through all the things I've like watched and read and some of the ones I think are absolutely based and give some shout outs to some good manhwas. That'll be a good one as well. Aaron Hacks says, Happy New Year's. Cheers. Cheers to you, Aaron. Thank you so much. Death Angels Shadow says, Happy New Year, y'all. From an ex-Florida at East Tennessee. Look, I love East Tennessee. Shout out to my people out there. I had an uncle and aunt in Maryville near Knoxville. I loved going out there and boating, swimming. It was great. Great time. So love East Tennessee as well. Dayhako, my base Kyopo, dropping 20 legal mindset memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at 428 memberships. We have blown past our record by 100 memberships. Thank you so much for making this an insane day. Adam Wilford said for 5, I thought as I got old, I would start watching the Weather Channel and find that more interesting. But watching you, Nick, and others talking about the law, yeah, I know, it's crazy. Like learning about the law is more interesting than like chasing tornadoes. It's chasing the legal shit show that's going on with Disney. Blue Fire says, just dropping by to say, wish you Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. All right, so let's get into the legal aspect, you law nerds and nerdettes out there. The legal aspect of this is the part that we're going to get into where Disney is challenging. So is Disney going to win? Here's what we have to look at. We have to look at the burden of proof. In this case, these types of cases are by the preponderance of evidence. Preponderance of evidence. Preponderance means the greater weight of the evidence. It is not beyond a reasonable doubt. This is not beyond a reasonable doubt. This is preponderance of the evidence, the greater weight of the evidence. So if you've got 90% sure, that is preponderance of the evidence. Okay? Burden is on the petitioner. So meaning Disney, they're the ones petitioning. So the burden is on Disney to prove that the assessment, what was actually put on the property, exceeds the market value. So let's go back for a second. So what they've got to prove in this case, and I'm going to share back these assessments with you so you understand. Let's look at Yacht Club again, okay? Let's look at Yacht Club. Where's that? Let me pull this up again. There we go. Okay. Hold on. It's being a little finicky. Sometimes these things get a little moody. They get a little moody. All right. So let's do it. I don't want to do it that way. All right, hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to separate that out. That'll probably work better. All right, there we go. Okie dokie. All right, here we go. Yacht and Beach Club. Okay, so the burden is on Disney to prove that this number, the assessed value, is higher than what the market value is. This is what the just value is, the market value. So they think the market value is 417 million. They only assessed 323. So it's not only their duty to prove this number is wrong, but also to come up with a market value that is lower than this number. So it's not about proving the high number is wrong. It's about proving the low number is wrong, what they were assessed on. So don't look at this number, look at this number. They've got to prove that what they were actually taxed on was not fair. That's what they've got to prove. That's a pretty damn high burden for Disney to win. It's a pretty high burden for Disney to win that. Just objectively, the legal standard. Look at the legal standard. It's a pretty high burden. In addition, they could prove it was arbitrarily based on appraisal techniques different from those to apply to comparable property within the same county. So Universal Studios. So if they were able to show that Universal Studios was assessed in a different way, then they would win. But they're not going to prove that because Universal Studios was assessed the same way. So the only option they have is to prove that the value is not fair. They need to come up with another number. That is damn hard. The appraiser can use any of those three approaches, which are all professionally accepted. So typically, the assessment is not going to exceed the value and will be valid. Who are the witnesses? You can bring in tax representative, project managers, plant managers, appraisers, PhDs in economics. All of these people can be brought into court to testify and would be in a case. Now, Disney does this annually. How do we know Disney does this annually? Well, if you look over here, you see where they say Disney is suing. This article here from Florida Politics. Disney is suing over its property taxes, arguing they're excessive. Disney has been suing over its tax bills since 2015. And you know that because we can go back here and see, even in 2017, we had Disney, and this is from CBS Miami, Disney Universal battle for tax bills over theme parks in 2017. Now, this was when our boy Rick Singh was in the house, and Rick Singh, like I said, was using that crazy method where he threw the branding on it, and he said the value of the branding throws into that. How many times did they win? Well, they settled the case. They have settled the case several times. I believe about 3 times. But I do not think, and I might be wrong on this, I don't think they've ever won a case. They've settled with the property appraiser, which has ultimately come up to them paying somewhere in the middle. So what I want to point out here, though, guys, is look, I'm not all about calling out Disney for challenging a tax bill because it's too much. But here's the point. Disney is very litigious. I worked with Universal Studios, and I can tell you guys this from an inside perspective, which does not violate my client confidentiality, duty to former clients, or anything else. Universal Studios would go, when they were handed a tax bill or they were presented with something that was unreasonable, they would go behind the scenes and talk to the people and get it handled, right? They would just get it handled. They would not jump to lawsuit territory right away because that saves money and time for both people on both sides and come to an amenable agreement, right? Now, when it's time to sue, they will sue, right? And other property owners would do similar things. I'm not talking about Universal Studios. Other property owners as well, big hotels, big chains, when they got a big bill, they would go talk to somebody about it. They wouldn't just jump and sue. And Disney has this tendency to be very litigious. Out of nowhere, they will just sue. And this is the theme I want you guys to carry forward, not just for this lawsuit, but for all Disney lawsuits. Disney is litigious. And on top of that, the real threat for Disney is they will bury you in procedure. Have you guys seen what they're doing in all the other cases? Have you seen what they're doing with the new public records lawsuit? That new lawsuit is really just a motion in the main lawsuit. But why would they file a separate public records lawsuit? To slow it down procedurally. Because procedurally, it's going to require a separate ruling by a separate judge, which takes another month, another 2 months, another 3 months. It's delay, 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 delay. They bully you. They legally win by burying you in procedure, by their lawyers just finding some procedural effery to sprinkle some magical pixie dust and delay things. They never want to get to the merits. Because the thing is, if Disney actually really litigated to trial, a lot of times they would lose. But the other side just generally says, we're tired of spending money on this, and they give up. Because Disney is willing to spend a lot of money on lawyers. By the way, speaking of lawyers, shout out to Steve Gosney, who actually got this pretty accurate here. Steve says, cost approach, replacement value. Income approach, value of the income stream. Liquidation approach, sell everything, then sell the raw land. Yeah, those are all valid approaches to property. Very good, Steve. Very smart. Very smart. Good night, Steve. Good night, Steve. All right. So this is something that carries on with Disney beyond all their other lawsuits. Also, shout out over here on Rumble to Occupant 42, who says, here's to 2024, another year of Disney and Hollywood not getting my money. I'll probably be spitting on lawyers, accountants, and independent media, just like 2023. Probably not hookers. Probably. Shout out occupant. Shout out occupant. As long as you're spending it on lawyers, it's placed in the right place. All right. All right. Gauze is not just a pretty face. No. He used to be a dirt lawyer and have a real estate license. Used to be. That's why we have our simpatico. But guys, speaking of simpatico, it is about time for some lunch for me, or breakfast, really. I haven't eaten breakfast. And also for me to get that beer, that breakfast beer. So guys, I am going to sign off here for the night. Now, it is New Year's Eve here in Bangkok. In Thailand. I'm not in Bangkok. I'm on the beach. I may have a local stream, so stay tuned for that a little bit later tonight, just walking around, seeing things. So if you guys are a local supporter or if you're on locals, check that out. That might be some New Year's Eve fun later tonight, just be roaming around, being a gangster in Thailand. So check that out later on. Smash a like button on your way out. And I want to say have a safe and happy New Year's to all of you. And I will catch you in 2024 Asia time. See you guys. Peace.